Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Thursday, the 11th of November, Veterans Day. The Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs. Whether it's to have your home decorated for the holidays or you're doing this as a business and you need some Christmas stuff to decorate with, they have plenty in stock. They're at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York. And some of that stock includes snowmen, countdown clocks, Santa Claus, snowmen again, only they're all standing on their shoulders, and of course, no decorative lawn is done unless you've got the penguins and the elves. 631-957-5106, so the website is liholidaylighting.com. And then head over a mile away to Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. 631-756-1125, the phone number there. Get the rock salt now or any of the snow melt products like Pelledo or Mag ice pellets and flakes, because you know come the first snowstorm, it's all going to be hard to find. They're at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125 is the phone number, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. So Joe Rayo will be popping in at any second, at any moment now. There he is. Hi, Joseph. Hello. What are you doing? All right, I have no idea what's going on here. I don't know if he's faking that or he's actually frozen in the shot. Looks like he might be frozen in the shot. All right. Yep, he's frozen in the shot. And now Joe is connecting to audio, so let's see what's going on. In the meantime, folks, yes, Joe Rayo, Christinapedia, does look very angry. But I'm not sure what's happening. It says he's connecting to audio. Oh, he's trying to come in again. Let's see if that worked. I'm letting him in. Okay. So we have the angry Joe Rayo on the top, and we have the angry Joe Rayo on the bottom. But the angry Joe Rayo on the bottom actually speaks.
What's going on, Joe?
I have no idea. How did you get yourself up there twice?
I don't know.
Oh, now it's just the. Oh, it's too bad I didn't save that screenshot. Oh, I had an opportunity. Okay, well, we're on the air. We're on the air. So, Mr. Rayo.
Yes.
What's the matter? What's going on?
I don't have any clue what's going on.
Well, you're okay now on this end. It's just you. We lost the dummy shot over there that was hanging. Now you have bright white light. So
all right.
Okay. So good evening.
Yeah, hi. I 5 minutes ago I was like dead asleep, and I'm just awake, and I've got this. I'm not wearing my headphones because my wife has had me attach some strange thing to my computer here to charge up. So
all right, I don't
know what it is.
You sound fine.
Okay.
Would you like to maybe splash water on your face, or
No, I'll just listen to you. That'll put me back to sleep.
Oh, thanks so much. Lovely. That's grand. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. Do we start with the fact that the Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk of severe weather and a 2% tornado risk tomorrow morning? We could start there.
You can. I have to admit to you and everybody else that I spent literally no time today looking at maps because there was so much to do outside in advance of the trip at the end of the month, and I'm just, there was so many things that I wanted to do, could not do. The sun sets now at 4:30 in the afternoon. It gets dark, much earlier now. And what else can I say? I'm just,
All right. Well, I mean, if you don't feel
I
up
know
to,
it's gonna, I know it's gonna rain tomorrow. I know that much.
if you don't feel up to doing it because you're too tired, you can say goodnight now, and I'll just take it along from
No,
here.
no, I can do this.
All
I
right.
can do this.
All right.
We could take care of this.
So I just want to address one thing about with respect to, when we're talking about the long range. I mean, I guess I have to kind of make it clear that the calendar is November 11th. Okay, so in no way did I suggest that we were talking about anything other than below normal temperatures. This time of year, if you're looking for, I mean, when you say it's going to turn colder, and I saw a bunch of experts on, out there, apparently have already decided because of what they've seen. When I say experts, I'm going to put it in quotes, as I think a few of them are on the chat board. That they have it all figured out, and I had a couple of people on Facebook say to me they're not impressed with the cold. I don't know what you're expecting for the middle to latter part of November. I was just looking at the long range, Joe. Everything after day 10, it's from day 10 to day 16. It's below normal temperatures pretty much everywhere east of the Rockies. I mean, that's what you get this time of year. If it's below normal, you're still going to have highs in the 40s. So I'm not understanding, why people are getting, I mean, I do understand why people are getting wrapped up over this, but the reality is it's November 11th. Okay, the average high at the end of November in New York City is still about 50. So if it's below normal, it's cold, and that's what I'm aiming at here.
Well, you already know my guess. There'll be a significant snow either November 28th or December 15th. Those are the two dates. The first date is the date I'm supposed to be leaving, and the second date is the date when I'm supposed to be coming back. So, one or either one, or maybe even both, are going to throw a monkey wrench into my ability to either leave or come back. I'm thoroughly and completely convinced that that's going to be the case. So, if you have any snow pools out there, we used to have one where we used to go at City College in Manhattan. We always used to have the annual snow pool where you have to guess when the first inch of snow was going to fall. I will say it could either be November 28th or December 15th. So there you are.
All right. Well, we have plenty of time to work on that. All right. So I also understand. I was thinking today I should really try to see if I can get Joe Bastardi to come on, and because he's so into the long range, and I know a lot of people follow him. So maybe I'll shoot him an email because he's talking about another Thanksgiving snowstorm based on the European control run. So.
Good Lord, haven't we gone down? I'm tired of going down all this, Joe. There's some things like for example in astronomy. What bugs the heck out of me is that people have been bothering me about the Leonid meteor shower. Oh, what are we going to see of the Leonids? And the Leonids are dead. They will not become active until the comet that shed that debris that gave those spectacular displays about 20 years ago comes back, and that won't be until like the 2030s. But I just get annoyed, like nobody listens. And as far as long range is concerned, you know what I've been saying all along, that once you go beyond 5 days, pick a date, figure something out, because really we are not. We think that we have the ability of being able to forecast long range and future trends or whatever. But the bottom line of it is, we don't.
Well, I mean, we do the best we can with what we have in front of us. I think over the last couple of years we've done a fairly decent job pointing out pattern changes and pointing out radical differences in what might be happening in the middle range. I have never been, I don't like to go much beyond the extent of what the models do, which is about 2 weeks, because I can never get my head wrapped around it. Some people are really good at that. I'm not. That's not my thing. But I'm still thinking that last week of November, let's say the last 10 days, as a general rule, are going to trend colder and below average. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of snow threat during that time frame. Maybe there will be. Maybe there won't. But I don't think anyone can say anything more than that. Meantime, we're loaded on the satellite tonight with a pretty big, strong storm system and upper air feature that is moving away to the east out of the northern plains and into the western Great Lakes. And just very quickly, with respect to watches and warnings, I want to see if that blizzard warning, yes, it's still up. The blizzard warning for northeastern South Dakota, surrounded by a bunch of winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings up in northern Minnesota, and a lot of high wind warnings. I was looking at the snowfall forecast map out of this. Let me see if I can bring it up again. It'll just take me a moment. Not a whole lot of snow is being produced by this system, but it does meet the standard definition with regards to the winds, which are going to be gusting to 50 miles an hour or more. And you put a few inches of snow on the ground, and you're going to have blizzard conditions, and that's what this is. Blizzards are wind events. They're not, somehow in the east they became associated with heavy snow events. Then they just watered down the definition of a blizzard. But you take a look here in terms of snowfall forecast amounts on top of whatever's already fallen. Yeah, there's some 8 to 10 inch pockets up in northern Minnesota, but go down into South Dakota, where you've got in northeastern South Dakota, where you've got the blizzard warnings up. They're only calling for 2 to 4, 2 to 5 there. So, but it is the first. We had a storm back a couple of weeks ago, I think in Wyoming, where they had a blizzard warning up for a bunch of counties. This is the first one, I would say, that's probably, I want to say, east of the Rockies, where we've got the first warnings up.
Yes, and one of our people on the well, it's not one of our people; it's the chairman, pointing out that if you were able to entice Mr. Bastardi to come on to our show, that one day it would be known as the Joe and Joe show.
Well, that's true. Yes. Can we think of any other Joes that we can invite at that point?
No, but I can tell you somebody who is interested in coming on, not immediately, but perhaps next month, and that's our old friend CC.
Oh yeah, I saw that conversation. I saw that conversation that you had with him. Yeah.
And he,
of course.
And I see the spinning wheel of death on my screen right now. Now it went away, so I guess we're back.
Yeah. No, I didn't lose any. I didn't lose anything here.
And now it's back again. So it's the wheel and keeps going round and round and round. Yeah, it's we are heading toward, as you've already pointed out, a trend toward somewhat colder weather. And I've already seen some forecasters who have decided that they're going to entice and titillate the local populace here in the tri-state area by mentioning the 4-letter word in their forecasts for perhaps over the weekend or sometime early next week. Obviously, nothing. In fact, one forecaster even put up a snow map. It was full of zeros. It was full of zeros in the local area, but up over the higher terrain, there were a couple of spots that had like 1 inch or 1.5 inches,
right.
Hunter Mountain, that kind of thing. So
yeah, way up.
Yeah, way up.
In Chuck Cardillo land, or even above Chuck Cardillo land. So anyhow, you're seeing the front. You're seeing the that arm on the east side of this giant comma that is moving eastward. That is our cold front. There's showers and thunderstorms with that on the radar tonight, which I will bring up here, and let's give it a quick refresh. Now, there's not much going on ahead of it. There are a couple of showers that are breaking out in central PA down into western Maryland, and sorry about that. Let me just bring it back to the east. I don't know why it does that. Anyhow, but this is a relatively narrow band of showers and storms. And when it gets to us to eastern Pennsylvania tomorrow morning, I'm thinking it's a 4 to 6 hour rain event here from west to east. So it's going to come in quick and it's going to go out quick.
And in the short time that it's here, anywhere from at least a half to maybe as much as 1.5 inches of rain. And Joe, the FOOS that we have, the 12Z NAM FOOS, which gives tabular data in terms of winds, boundary level winds, and precipitation, they had like 1.2 inches of rain falling on our area between 7 o'clock tomorrow morning and 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Then about additional 1/4 of an inch between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. And the lifted index was just enough to perhaps warrant the possibility or a mention of a little lightning and thunder in the early part of the day tomorrow. So it looks like it's going to be an active day and a wet start to the day tomorrow. No question about that.
By the way, taking a look at the radar up in northern Minnesota, back to North Dakota, and into eastern South Dakota, you can see the back edge rotation of this very large and strong upper low, and that is mostly snow that you're seeing up in this region. Meanwhile, look at another clobbering of very heavy rains moving into Washington and northern Oregon. I mean, this has been really ongoing for well over 2 weeks now. This system after system just comes crashing into the Northwest. It started out with the rain as far south as Central California, but lately it's been more confined up in the northern regions. And we do have, by the way, there's flash flood watches up for parts of western Oregon and all of western Washington state. We also do have, by the way, some beginnings of some wind advisories way up into upstate New York. I didn't think the wind was going to be a big deal, but when you have these cold fronts come eastward this time of year with a high offshore, the gradient does tend to tighten a little bit. So I'm wondering whether there might be some gusts of 30 miles an hour or so, or 30 miles an hour or more during the day tomorrow before the front goes by and the winds shift to the northwest, particularly along the immediate coast because of the wind coming in right off the ocean. It usually tends to blow away in cases like this on Long Island and southern New England. Not enough for advisories, but where it could be kind of gusty.
I could see. Well, let's see. They're using the Joe Rayo methodology here. I could, if I usually take the FOOS information and then multiply the boundary level by 1.5 to get wind gusts, and if I go by that standpoint or standard, we could see gusts. It would appear after midnight tonight, and on the order of about 35, maybe even 40 miles an hour. So yeah, it could get a little gusty, and it certainly will be a bit on the wet side. So dare I say, maybe a windswept rain or windswept showers expected here in our area in the late night out. Well, probably after midnight, or more likely into the beginning of the day tomorrow, for all of that mayhem to unfurl itself. And you folks who have to do some traveling in the Hudson Valley, the usual suspects for flooding: the Bronx River Parkway, the Hutchinson River Parkway, the Spring Brook Parkway, any parkway that or road that has a body of water associated with it, and those usually are the first to flood. And I could see tomorrow morning's Friday morning commute. It looks to be like a little on the rough side for some of my friends in and around the local area, Joe.
Okay, and we've got a marginal risk of severe weather for the Delmarva Peninsula, New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, the lower and middle.
I gotta hand it to you, Joe. I gotta hand it to you because you were talking about the possibility of lightning and convective activity here back this past weekend. And at that time, you were looking at the Storm Prediction Center, and they were not going to stick their neck so far out to say that there could be some. And then when we got within 3 days, they still hadn't had anything in the Northeast.
This morning,
not even general thunderstorm coverage. And then gradually they came around. They put general thunderstorm activity in. And as I've always said, it takes some time to come around to this. But with each passing day, they kept building, more and more toward the possibility of thundery weather. And now look at this. Here we are now. The part of the Northeast that didn't have anything just a few days ago on their maps are now suddenly immersed in the potential for marginal risk tomorrow morning.
And also, by the way, a 2% tornado risk.
Yes. Yes.
And here's the thing.
You know why they're doing that? You know why they're doing that? Because they probably had a little conference and they said, well, look, if Seattle can have it, why not this area, right? So that's
from one end of the country to the other. Usually, what happens is on a day like today. So this morning, I do my morning outlook on my website and on my subscription site, and I usually when the severe weather is a risk, I kind of try to wait for SPC to do something. And every time I try to second guess them, it never works. So this morning, I put up. I looked. They didn't add the marginal risk. They added this late this afternoon. So,
okay.
So maybe it was the fact that I mentioned, because they follow us religiously, I mentioned that there might be an isolated, stronger cell, but it should not be a widespread severe weather outbreak. And they said, you know what? If Chaffee thinks that there's going to be an isolated severe cell, then maybe we ought to just put the marginal risk up.
It's like I always say, Joe.
I'm sure that's exactly how it went down at SPC.
I always said, Joe, you're the king of weather media right now. Everybody gravitates toward your site, your Patreon sites, your Facebook, your YouTube sites. Everything falls on Chaffee. And by the way, on the chat board we have John Charles, who points out another Joe is meteorologist Joe DeLeo.
Oh, now, that's right. Yes.
So what we ought to do, although it's too far in the future, I think it's March 27th when we have National Joe Day. But we ought to try to find a way to get Vistardi, DeLeo, you and I mean, we just fill the whole corridor up with Joes here.
That would be funny. That would be funny. Well, let's see.
We would have Joe, and Joe.
Right. Let's see how if I can work on this. But we can't do it anytime soon because you're going to the bottom of the earth in a couple of weeks, and you're going to be gone for a couple of weeks.
Don't remind me.
Chuck Cardillo hitting super chat tonight. Thank you, Chuck. Most appreciated. And I didn't get to you. I saw your message that you sent me, and I didn't get to answer it yet. But I promise you, I will get it. I will respond to you as ASAP. Okay. So anyhow, you see what SPC is doing with the 2% tornado risk and the marginal risk of severe weather. Rainfall amounts of about 3/4 of an inch to 1.25 inches, a couple of pockets of 1.5 inches. Most of what you see on this map is front end loaded. Now, I'm going to flip over to the longer range and then come back to the short range since I got the maps up in this order. A couple of things that changed somewhat on the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation. It seems like a bunch of more and more members are going negative on the NAO after the 16th, and particularly during the week of the 22nd. We actually have a couple of members that are almost 2 standard deviations negative. Now, there are a couple of members that are still positive, but now most of the members go negative in a handful of around the 17th or so. So that's an interesting development. And I think the fact that, we're dealing with a situation like this where you've got the NAO negative. It always makes models very confusing. There's a lot of stuff going on across the Northern Hemisphere that has been leading to some model run volatility. Meanwhile, interestingly enough, the PNA, which goes negative and is about one standard deviation negative around the 16th, 17th of November, which is a week from now, a little less than a week from now, and correlates with a another brief warm up ahead of another cold front. The PNA does spike to neutral, and a lot of members are going positive for Thanksgiving week. So you're going to have a positive PNA, a negative NAO, and possibly a negative EPO for Thanksgiving week. So I'm a little more bullish. And in fact, I pulled this up. This is the 18Z run on the temperature anomalies. Okay. And if you look at what's going on, so obviously we have a progressive pattern. Okay. So let me roll this back. And of course, we warmed up today and tomorrow. Actually, we're not that far. We're actually closer to normal than anything else today. And northern New England is actually a little bit below normal. Now, we're going above normal. We're gradually working our way to above normal tonight and also during the day tomorrow. Here comes the colder air for the weekend. We're mostly below normal into Tuesday. It's a shot that comes in and goes out. Then we warm up ahead of the next cold front, which comes through at the end of next week. And then we go below normal. And then a brief nudge above normal on the 22nd before another front goes through. And then we're below normal from November 22nd on the GFS right through the 27th. So all of Thanksgiving week, except for that Monday, we're going to see below average temperatures. So I'm not sure what I'm not sure what some people's expectations are given the calendar. If you're thinking that we're, when I say it's a colder pattern, does not equate to an Arctic outbreak in January. Okay, it is the end of November. So let's put a little context here. Let's keep it in context. The other thing is the fact that we've talked about the lack of snow cover in North America. In October and through the first part of November. It's starting to play a little bit of catch up, but without the snow cover up there, it's hard to produce quality cold air. Now, in the next 10 days, there may be more snow cover up there. So perhaps the air coming down at the end of the month, toward the last 10 days of the month, or let's say Thanksgiving week, if this verifies, will be a bit more of what I would refer to as a quality cold air mass. So I don't know where some of you are picking up this whole idea of
winter's dead.
Winter's dead before it even gets here. I mean, it's really, come on, it's silly. It's November 11th. Joe, can you count on your hand the number of times you've seen accumulating snow in November? I could maybe on one hand. I could, I remember the snow after Sandy. I remember a snowfall after Thanksgiving in '95 that happened ahead of the '95-'96 winter, so that's 2. Then there was the Thanksgiving snow of '89, that's 3. There was a Veterans Day thing back in '87 or '88 or something. On Veterans Day, we had some places had a slushy inch or 2. So that's 4.
Right. I remember.
That's 4. That's 4 that I remember.
How about the one 3 years ago?
And I think in '79 there was one at the end of November that I remember from college. So five of them that I remember. That's it.
How about the Governor Murphy storm?
6.
Yeah, there you go.
So 6. I'm 60. I'm 60. Going to be 63. So 6 times in 63 years. So let's take out the first 20 years of that. So since I was 20, so only 6 times in the last 43 years have we seen any kind of accumulating snow during the month of November, at least where I was, happened to be. Maybe up further north or further northwest, it was a different story. So it's a little silly. It really is. It's a little silly to get wrapped up in a overblown definition of what cold is supposed to be this time of year. I just don't understand what people's expectations are.
Well, a lot of people, think that November is a month where we could get some significant snowfalls. It used to be what November is to us now used to be kind of like what December used to be. Now December, once you get into the month of December, you
not in the last 20, not in the last 20 years.
What? In terms of snow?
Snowfall in December's in the last 20 years have been far more substantial than in the prior 30 before that.
Well, I mean, like I remember it used to be like the month of December. They'd say in terms of Central Park, they would say like maybe 2-3 inches, and now it has to be more than that.
No, it's when before the 70s, the average snowfall for December was like I think 5.9 or something, or 5.7, something like that. Then it dropped to like 2 inches because between 1970 and 2000, it didn't snow very much in the month of December. But since 2000, right. It snowed substantially during the month. We had the Boxing Day storm, and then there was the other big snowstorm around the 2010, whichever one it was. Even last year, we've got like 7 or 8 inches in the middle of December, if you remember. So, right. December's gotten busy again,
Right.
So anyway, but to take a look at the upper air in terms of how this evolves, if the NAO is going to go negative, well, it certainly shows it here on this particular run, actually starting from this coming week, the weekend of the 19th, which is next weekend. And the troughing goes into the east, got a nice upper low and a cold shot of air right at the beginning of Thanksgiving week, if this is correct. And then a follow-up shortwave comes in and forms a trough in the eastern part of the United States. You got a nice northwest flow out of Canada, so and the connection goes all the way up into northern Canada. So let's see what happens when we get there, and we'll. But I'm still sticking with what I said. We're going to go below normal. The second half of here we are at the 15th of the month. I mean, we're getting these shots of cold air from Canada now. We're not like we were in October where we were 2 weeks without a cold front and sitting with a ridge along the East Coast. So the pattern has changed, and now it's going to change again. I'll realign itself with the NAO staying negative. I'm from my standpoint, I'm sticking to what I've been saying.
There's supposed to be a cold front passing through here late next week, and the GFS seems to want to have that front come on through here Friday morning. But I've noticed that both the Canadian and also the European models are not substantially faster, but noticeably faster.
Yes, I saw that today.
Yeah, not coming through on Friday, but it's coming through like, let's say, Thursday or Thursday night.
Yeah, I noticed that today on the European in particular. The European has not exactly been working very well lately. By the way, here's tomorrow's front, sweeps on through. Now, Saturday is the first of a couple of upper troughs. So look, I put in for some showers scattered around Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, and that goes out. And then you got another upper trough that swings in for Sunday night, Monday. See, it produces some wet snow in northern Pennsylvania and back up into western New York. And then low pressure develops, will be cold. I don't think we're going to get out of the 40s in many places on Sunday, and I don't think we're going to get out of the 40s Monday or Tuesday. We'll warm up ahead of the next front, which the GFS has approaching early on Friday of next week, but the European is about a day faster, and the Canadian is about a day faster. And then I'm just going to switch over to the other map so we can see the thicknesses. I think I saw a 5/16 thickness down the road. But after
the other thing I know, or I can strongly rely on, is the fact that we had such gorgeous weather. I mean, we were close to 70 the other day, and I wanted to go up into the attic and start pulling down the Christmas decorations. But of course, I'm not allowed to do that because the executive producer says you cannot do any of that without me, and she does not want me to climb on my own our little giant ladder to go up to the roof to start stringing all this stuff. So basically, as I said, we have to wait now since we're going to be gone at the end of the month. And we want to get all the decorations up, beforehand. So basically, what we're waiting for is the first real shot, Joe, of temperatures in the 30s and wind chills in the teens and single digits, which in all likelihood will be arriving just in time for the week of Thanksgiving. Again, another example of how I don't even need to look at weather maps to make long range predictions. I just know that somebody up there says, "Oh, well, he's got to do this. He's got to do that. He's got to get somewhere. We got to give him a fine send off, either with a major storm with snow or a shot of very cold and frigid weather."
Mark down. Do it on mark down. I'll tell you what day you should do it on. If this run is correct, you should do it on Tuesday, November 23rd, because we're going to have a 510 thickness right overhead. There's a 959. What is that? I'm sorry, I can't see the pressure on that map. There's so many isobars on this storm in eastern Canada that I can't even see what the lowest pressure is. That's how strong it is.
Can't do it on that day, Joe. I'm getting my car. I'm getting my car inspected and the oil change.
You can always reschedule that. A 953 low in New Brunswick. 5,000 isobars between that low and the 1036 high in Iowa. A 510 thickness. A 510 thickness dropping into upstate. Just actually went 516 is at Cape May, and the 510 is at New York City by 12Z Tuesday. So I guess this isn't. I guess for some people this isn't. This is the model not showing a colder pattern going into the long range, and then that goes out, and then another shot of cold air behind that one, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, look, folks, you get the idea. I'm getting sarcastic now, and sometimes when I get sarcastic, I can take it up to the next level, and we go from sarcastic to nasty. So I'm going to stop before I get nasty.
And I know the executive producer is watching right now, and I'm going to do my darndest to bitterly complain in the bitter cold when she has me out there stringing those lights up. And while we're away down under at the bottom of the globe, count on the fact that during that time frame, during that 2-week time frame, Joe, we're going to have some of the loveliest weather, some of the nicest weather. Probably, I wouldn't even be surprised if we hit 70 during the time that I'm away down there. So I'm all set.
No,
I've got
actually, it'll be the opposite. It'll be incredibly stormy here and incredibly busy, and I won't be able to. I'll have to do the show by myself.
Oh no, it's not going to be that way.
Oh yes, it is. I have the same luck as you do. So, you know what? You'll be compensating in the Drake Passage. So
yes.
So while you're suffering there, I'll be suffering. I'll be suffering here.
I was talking with a friend of mine who I've known for we're coming up on almost 50 years that we've known each other. And I broke the news to her where I was going. And she said, "You're not going through the Drake Passage." I said, "I'm not only going through it, I'm going through it twice." So, no, Joe, what are you doing?
All right, let's do Briller Jeopardy, because it's the last night of our special week on Antarctica. Multiple choice, Joe. Millions of years ago, Antarctica was as warm as A, Miami, B, Melbourne, C, Madrid, or D, Moscow.
I'll say Moscow.
No, the answer is Melbourne.
Melbourne. Well, and by the way, if you live in Australia, you don't say Melbourne, you say Melbourne.
Right. Okay. How many active volcanoes are there on Antarctica? One.
I know that there's a chain of at least 5. So.
Well, according to the choices here, 5 is not among them. So the choices are 1, 2, 3, or 124. How many active volcanoes?
124.
Right. How many active volcanoes, Joe? Not how many volcanoes. How many active?
I'll say 3. I'll say 3.
The answer is 2, which was B.
2.
How many tourists? How many tourists visit Antarctica in 2020? Was it A, 26,000, B, 36,000, C, 56,000, or D, 256,000?
Well, 2020 was the year when we had the pandemic, and I can't see anybody who was able to go, because the only way you really can go if you're a tourist is via cruise ship. What was the first number that you put up?
The first number was 26,000. 36,000, 56,000, or 256,000.
I can't believe that the numbers are that high in a year of the pandemic. I thought there would have been a lot less than that. Well, maybe actually the pandemic didn't kick in until like March or April of 2020. So there may have been quite a few people who went, prior to that, which is also the summer season for, Antarctica and for going to Antarctica. So I'll say 26,000.
The answer is 56,000. Izzy D hitting super chat, and thank you, Izzy. But no, I'm not coming up anytime soon. My mom is down here. She's she had to have a medical procedure done, so I'm kind of tied down here in the South for a while. But if I do come up, I will. I'll let everybody know I'm coming up, but I'm not coming up anytime soon. The estimated population of penguins on Antarctica is 3 million, 5 million, 79 million, or 1 trillion.
I don't think it's a trillion. How about 3 million?
5 million, actually. 5 million, yes.
5 million.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be funny if I was down there for 2 weeks and I didn't see a single penguin?
Now you should see them, because they're going to be going back and forth of getting krill for their babies. So on one day the females go out and then they come back, and then the males go out, then the females stay, and then the males go out. So you should be seeing a lot of back and forth traffic. And then of course there's the occasional leopard seal who likes to feed on penguins. The highest mountain on Antarctica, Mount Vinson, stands how many feet tall? 6,500, 9,000, 16,500, or 26,000?
No, 26,000 can't be the case. I'll say 9,000.
It's 16,500.
Wow.
Okay. How many ATMs are there in Antarctica? And I will tell you right now, none of the choices are 0. Okay. Is it 1, 7, 50, 175, or 2?
I'm going to say 2.
And you would be correct. 2 on the McMurdo station owned. And can you guess which bank owns those ATMs?
Can't be Citibank.
No, it's a well-known bank. Wells Fargo.
Chase? Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo.
By the way, I learned from Dennis Cassia, one of our mainstays here on the chat board, who, by the way, is his birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Dennis!
And one of his friends actually spent several months at the McMurdo station in Antarctica, I think on some kind of a special grant or whatever. But I said to myself, several months at the McMurdo station in Antarctica, it's enough that I'm going to be down there for 2 weeks. Several months. I can't even imagine doing something like that. But anyway,
you have to have a certain mindset to be able to do it. So, all right, here's our last question, and then we're going to call it a night. So here's our last question, and that question is, how many McDonald's are there in Antarctica?
I don't get a choice. I don't get multiple choice on this.
7, 2, 1, 0, or 68?
I'll say zero. I mean, how do you?
There's no. What are you gonna serve? Instead of a fish fillet, what are you gonna have, like a penguin fillet? No,
Yeah.
we're not gonna do that. No. All right. So anyhow,
I didn't even know. By the way, I did not mention how many years Mr. Cassia has been on this earth because I figured, well, nobody likes to, but Jason Schaefer has apparently broke the news to everybody that it is a milestone birthday for Mr. Cassia. He is the big 70 today.
Oh, God bless you! Happy birthday, Dennis Cassia. 70 is a good age. As long as you're regular, you can still pee. It's good.
Oh dear me! I remember, and I didn't know him. I didn't know Dennis, but I was a subscriber back in 1967 to Sky and Telescope, where he had one of his pictures published during the Perseid meteor shower, a magnificent view of a fireball in the sky. And I saw the name Dennis Cassia, and I saw at that time he was living in Thornwood, New York. And years later, when a mutual friend of ours emailed me, he also emailed Dennis, and when I finally was able to send an email to him, I said, "You wouldn't happen to be Dennis Cassia of Thornwood, New York?" The thing that's scary to me about that, Joe, is that when that picture was published, Dennis was all of 14 years old, and now here he is today, 70 years old. Time is going by much, much too fast. I tell you.
That is quite true. You blink an eye, and suddenly you're in your 60s. I mean, I was thinking about that actually earlier today. It's like, how did that happen?
Yes.
When did that happen? Because it seems like it happened without me. It just happened, and they put me there and said, "Here, you're 63. You're 62."
When my grandfather turned 65, we had the great ice storm here in the tri-state area. It was December 17th, 1973. I remember it like it was just last year. And that's when my grandfather was 65. And of course, I turned 65 in August. And I'm still shaking my head like, how did that, as you just said, Joe, how did that happen?
Yeah.
How did I end up here when I was all the way back there with the ice and my grandfather turning 65? And now here I am. But
yeah, I know. It's mind blowing. It's just mind blowing. Anyway, all right. Look, we got a couple of days off coming up, so we'll see you everybody on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So enjoy your Friday, enjoy your Saturday. Thanks for the super chat hits tonight. Excuse me. Those of you who hit the super chat tip jar tonight, Izzy D, and who was the other one? Chuck Cardillo. How can I? Oh, I cannot. I should have been front and center on my brain that it was Chuck. But thanks to both of you for hitting super chat tonight, and I'll probably be posting, and maybe I may do a video tomorrow on for my subscribers. For those of you who are on my Patreon platform, I'll probably do a long range video either tomorrow or Saturday, so we could update you on what is going on with the models and where we're going for the next couple of weeks. And in the meantime, see you on Sunday. Nighty night.
Nighty night, everybody. Ta-da!
Yes.